OCS!
3,
Transaction will remain a complete secret. No one ever need know of it. I admit, I actually considered it for a second. $5 million into it. There was nothing there now but a massive pile of twisted, flaming metal. I kept my distance, but a large crowd of people had already gathered up ahead of me, standing as close to the blaze as they dared. No one bothered trying to enter the wreckage to look for survivors. It was obvious there weren't going to be any. An ancient propane tank attached to one of the crushed trailers detonated in a small explosion, causing the crowd to vote in both the Oasis elections and the elections for U.S. government officials. I didn't bother with the latter because I didn't see the point. The once great country into which I'd been born now resembled its former self in name only. It didn't matter who was in charge. Those people were rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, and everyone knew it. Besides, now that everyone could vote from home via the Oasis, the only people who could get elected were movie stars, reality TV personalities, or radical televangelists. I did take the time to vote in a quest called Shodai Urutoraman on the planet Tokusatsu. The creation date in the quest's colophon said it had been launched several years after Halliday's death, which meant it couldn't have any relation to the contest. It was also a Japanese language quest created by GSS's Hokkaido division. I could have tried to complete it on my own using the Mandarak's real-time translator software installed in all Oasis accounts, but it would have been risky. Mandaraks had been known to garble or misinterpret quest instructions and clues, which could easily lead to fatal mistakes. Daito and Shoto lived in Japan. They'd become national heroes there, and I knew that they both spoke Japanese and English. The three of us met outside the quest gate on Tokusatsu and entered it together. The quest was a recreation of all 39 episodes of the original Ultraman TV series, which had aired on Japanese television from 1966 to 1967. The show's storyline centered around a human named Hayata, who was a member of the Science Patrol, an organization devoted to fighting the hordes of giant Godzilla-like monsters that were constantly attacking Earth and threatening human civilization. When the Science Patrol encountered a threat they couldn't handle on their own, they drop when you killed an NPC or completed a quest. The rarest such items were artifacts, super powerful magic items that gave their owners incredible abilities. Only a few hundred of these artifacts existed, and most of them dated back to the earliest days of the Oasis, when it was still primarily an MMO game. Every artifact was unique, meaning that only one copy of it existed in the entire simulation. Usually, the way to obtain an artifact was to defeat some godlike villain at the end of a high-level quest. If you got lucky, the bad guy would drop an artifact when you killed him. You could also obtain an artifact by killing an avatar who had one in its inventory, or by purchasing one in an online auction. Since artifacts were so rare, it was always big news when one went up for auction. Some had been known to sell for hundreds of thousands of credits, depending on their powers. The record had been set 3 years ago, when an artifact called the Cataclysm was auctioned off. According to its auction listing, the Cataclysm was a sort of magical bomb, and it could be used only once. When it was detonated, It would kill every single avatar and NPC in the sector, including its owner. There was 1 million credits. The artifact still hadn't been detonated, so its new owner still had it sitting around somewhere, waiting for the right time to use it. It was something of a running joke now. When a Gunter was surrounded by avatars she didn't like, she would claim to have the Cataclysm in her inventory and threaten to detonate it. But most people suspected that the item had actually fallen into the Sixers' hands, along with countless other powerful artifacts. Findoro's Tablet of Finding wound up selling for even more than the Cataclysm. According to the auction description, the tablet was a flat circle of polished black stone, and it had one very simple power. Once a day, its owner could write any avatar's name on its surface, and the tablet would display that avatar's location at that exact moment. However, this power had range limitations. If you were in a different Oasis sector than the avatar you were trying to find, the tablet would tell you only which sector your target was currently in. If you were already in the same sector, all you had to do was watch the top rankings on the scoreboard and wait until someone's score increased. The second that happened, you could write that avatar's name on the tablet, and it would tell you where they were at that exact moment, thus revealing the location of the key they'd just found or the gate they'd just exited. Due to the artifact's range limitations, it might take 2 or 3 attempts to narrow down the exact location of a key or gate, but even so, that was still information a lot of people would be willing to kill for. When Findoro's Tablet of Finding went up for auction, a huge bidding war broke out between several of the large Gunter clans. But when the auction finally ended, the tablet wound up selling to the Sixers for almost 2 million credits. Sorrento himself used his own IOI account to bid on the tablet. He waited until the last few seconds of the auction and then outbid everyone. He could have bid anonymously, but he obviously wanted the